Moving to St. Augustine can be amazing, or it could be a complete nightmare if you don't know what you're walking into. Between flood zones, fast-growing communities, and complete lifestyle differences, not every St. Augustine community is going to give you the lifestyle that you might be expecting. That's why in this video, we're going to break down what it actually costs to live here, some of the jobs, commutes, and road projects that are changing the way that the area maneuvers, and what it actually is like living here. And of course, the lifestyle trade-offs that buyers need to know before choosing St. Augustine as a home. I'm Amy Howell. I own O.N.E Florida Group. Our team has been helping families relocate to this area for the past 6 years here in the Sunshine State. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss weekly content like this. All right, let's talk real numbers. What a typical home costs and what buyers are actually paying monthly once everything is added in. So the average median sales price here in St. Johns County is $550,000. And if we take that and run it into a scenario, let's say put 20% down, you have a 30-year fixed, 5.99 APR, your monthly mortgage payments are going to be sitting around $26-ish hundred a month. Now, if you're purchasing a home here in St. Johns County, you're probably going to have an HOA and a CDD. On top of that, depending on where you land, you might have flood insurance. And of course, everybody's going to have homeowners insurance, correct? And none of this is including PMI. You know, there's obviously going to be other fees involved here, but just for numbers sake, we'll say that that $2,600, once you add all those other costs in, is roughly going to be over $3,300 a month. So these are things that you need to be aware of and factor in when shopping for a home here. So what about your property taxes and your homestead exemption? So your property taxes live on your mortgage's escrow, and your homestead exemption can actually save you some money by reducing the property's taxable value on your primary home, as well as cap certain increases. So this is something that we make sure we share with all of our buyers, and we remind them to make sure that they put in for their homestead exemption on their primary residence here in Florida to save as much money as possible. Now, of course, if you're purchasing a new construction home, that's going to come with some fees that you might not be expecting. So typically buyers go to new construction because of better deals, lower interest rates, builder incentives, all of that. And of course, the reduced risk of expensive repairs, being that it is a new home. However, something that buyers typically aren't considering is getting their own home inspection. There are 4 points during the build and after the build process when you should be getting that home inspected. So that's another fee or another cost that you're going to incur that you might not be considering. So let's say you're purchasing a home near the coast or maybe an older home. You're going to want to make sure to budget for salt air maintenance and hurricane prep. That's something that you might not be considering when considering your budget for moving down here in St. Augustine and Northeast Florida. There are a lot of costs associated that you might not have wherever it is that you might be relocating from. So when you're looking at home prices online, you might have a completely different monthly budget in mind, not taking into consideration some of the fees that we do have here. Or perhaps you're a first-time home buyer and all of this is brand new to you. Take a quick pause. Hopefully I won't be making a weird face when you do so, and download our home search app right here. Inside that app, we have a mortgage calculator. We also have a mortgage lender that you can reach out to inside the app and ask any questions you might have, as well as our entire team in there to help answer your questions and make sure you're set up for success when it comes to your budget. All right, so let's talk about jobs, commutes, and the road projects that are shaping this area. So I-95, it's your north-south backbone. Everybody's using it, so it's going to be backed up up around the usual times. You're going to see bottlenecks around 9 and 5. And then we've got State Road 16 and 312. And those are going to be your east-west lifelines. Those same thing. People are going to, at peak hours, you're going to see some bottlenecks in those areas. But overall, the commute times, the average commute times in St. Johns County is 27 minutes, which is just a hair above the U.S. average for commute time. So, I mean, it really depends on where you reside versus where you work and the hours that you're working. Pro tip, leaving 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late can make or break you. So make sure you are leaving on time and avoiding what you can, because you'll see a completely different outcome depending on minutes. So where is all this traffic coming from? Well, it's people going to and from work. So tourism is a major engine here. So you've got all of your tourist industry jobs, entertainment industry, beach resort, service provided jobs, management jobs, historic attractions, all of that stuff. And those are going to peak obviously during certain seasons, but that's going to bring extra jobs and extra traffic for sure. And then we've got healthcare jobs and higher end jobs creating year-round stability. We've got some huge names in the healthcare industry here locally, like UF Health, Flagler. You've got Mayo, Wolfson's, Baptist, Nemours Children's Hospital. We've got some of the biggest names in the industry right here at our footsteps. And of course, all of that is going to lead to more traffic and more jobs. And then we've got the World Commerce Center, which is expanding, creating a lot of big box, retail, and logistics jobs, which is creating a lot of both white and blue collar jobs around the area as well, which is fantastic. So while St. Johns County and the overall area is feeling some growing pains, the county is doing its best to logistically fix it all. There's a lot of road work going on and expansion projects happening now and in the near future that's going to smooth this out and shorten our time behind the wheel. So State Road 16 is widening with new lights to help flow, and I-95 and State Road 16 interchange is being upgraded. You can expect some cones now, but easier merges afterwards. The King Street Bridge means, more maneuvering around it right now, but a much stronger bridge in the future and a better commute around that area. And then you have State Road 312's west extension. It's on the drawing board now, but not complete yet. So not all the traffic is just job related. Schools play a huge part of the traffic puzzle too. So I am here in front of Passetti Bay Middle School, where one of our 4 daughters attends school. Now, schools like this one behind me are one of the main reasons so many families are flocking to the St. Johns County area. And that's what brought our family here. Honestly, my husband got military orders for Mayport. He was in the Navy, and we chose this World Golf Village area because of the school's ratings. And year over year, St. Johns County Schools has a 95% or higher graduation rating. So that is what's bringing so many families to this area. And when we first moved here, I got heavily involved in the PTA so that I could make friends and get to know the schools. And I have been serving on the board year after year since then because I absolutely fell in love with the schools. And being military, we have been around to so many different schools and been in so many different areas. And I can honestly say that the schools here are indeed very, very impressive. And I'm just grateful that our children are growing up in this fantastic area. Now, strategically, there are a lot of 55 plus communities in and around the master plan communities around these amazing St. Johns County schools. And I think it's a fantastic thing so that the grandparents can come along for the ride and the lifestyle. You've got Del Webb, Nocatee, you've got the Reverie in both SilverLeaf and Trailmark. We've got an entire guide all on 55 plus nice communities if you want to bring the grandparents along for the ride here. Now, do you have to have kids in order to live in St. Johns County? Absolutely not. And why is it a good investment? Well, because if you live in an area where the homes are highly sought after because of the schools, those home values are going to be higher than, say, other areas that don't have as high of ratings in the school department. Strong schools, strong resale, and strong lifestyle. Let's talk about the lifestyle living here. So really, you can sit in traffic anywhere. You can send your kids to school anywhere. Why are people doing that here, specifically in St. Augustine? It's because of places like this. It's the lifestyle. I'm here at Anastasia State Park. It is a beautiful, beautiful beach, beautiful state park, very well maintained. There's a playground over there. There's a full parking lot. There's indoor restrooms. There's a cafe. Our family has come here multiple times to do beach cleanups. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. And right over to my right, I can see the St. Augustine Lighthouse. It's just such a beautiful area to be in. And this is why we do it all, right? This is why we work so hard so that we can play so hard and enjoy ourselves in beautiful places like this. When you think Florida lifestyle, you think all things water, right? We are surrounded by it and all here in Florida. So you've got the beaches, but then you also have the rivers, and all of that encompasses all things water sports, from jet skis, surfing, boating, fishing, stand-up paddle boards, you name it, kayaking. All of it is here. But we're not just water sports. There is an entire scene all about golf. There are some avid golfers here. You've got the whole World Golf Village. You have TPC Sawgrass. You have Marsh Creek. There are courses for intermediate, beginner, and well-versed in golf. And every community pretty much has a golf club. So it's a fantastic way to meet people if you're into that, no matter your skill level. Pro tip for going to the beach, one thing that our family loves to do is come at sunrise. Number one, you come at sunrise, you have nobody to fight with for parking. It's completely empty. And you don't have to use sunscreen. By the time those UV rays hit, you guys are done and ready to pack up and go home. You've already been there for 4 or 5 hours. So that's how my family of 6 gets the beach done. We go early, we play for 5 hours, and by the time everybody else is just arriving, we are already headed home, we eat lunch, we take a nap, and we enjoy the rest of the day. Truthfully, this park is one of the most beautiful places that I have visited here in St. Augustine, and our family comes here frequently. Even though we don't live in Rivertown or near the area, we come here frequently, and we've picnicked here, we've taken our Christmas photos here. It's just so absolutely stunning, and the amount of peace that you have when you're in this park is incredible. But the lifestyle here isn't all water sports and staying outside. There is an entire foodie scene here in St. Augustine. You've got the Nights of Lights, you've got Downtown Historic District with tons and tons of amazing food options. I'm gonna tell you a little tip here. If you have never explored or if you're coming to visit, you want to hit up the tasting tours. This is not an ad in any sort of way, but the tasting tours, my husband and I got a gift certificate for it, and it was incredible. Not only did we get to taste some amazing food, you hop around and tour downtown, but we learned so much. Aside from eating delicious food, we learned so much about the area that we didn't even know. It was such a fantastic experience. So I highly recommend going with the tasting tours and seeing all the food that St. Augustine has to offer. So let's talk about some of the lifestyle trade-offs. The lifestyle that my family lives is a very car-dependent one. I live in this car. We live in a master plan community. We're in the back of the community, so we got to drive all the way to the front of the community. Our kids go to all 3 schools that we are zoned for, so we're in the car rider line a lot. So I kind of live in this car. That's the lifestyle that we have. It might be a trade-off. Some people might not want to be in their car as much as I am. I get through a lot of audiobooks, I'll tell you that, and I really love it. So for me, it's not a trade-off, it's just the lifestyle. Others might want a more walkable lifestyle. If you're looking for a walkable type of lifestyle, you're going to want to be in the historic area, downtown St. Augustine, where you can walk to places to eat. You can walk to places, maybe you work down there. It really, really is dependent on what that lifestyle looks like for you. Your trade-offs for that lifestyle is going to be parking. Parking is difficult, so maybe omit your car altogether. I don't know that that's possible. Thinking about, doctor's appointments and other logistical things like that, you're probably still going to need a vehicle if you live here. But if you prefer walking daily versus driving daily, downtown St. Augustine is definitely going to be where you want to look. So what are some of the biggest trade-offs and challenges of living in this area? Well, first off, it would be sticker shock. As I mentioned, the average base mortgage right now is sitting at around $3,300 a month, and that is without utilities, food, groceries, just living life in general. That's just your base. So that can be a little bit difficult. And so what's a workaround for that? Well, a workaround for that would be, obviously prices are going to be higher near the ocean and near the river. They're also going to be higher around your school zones. And the way that you can navigate that is be a little bit more inland. If beach is the lifestyle you want to live, but you want to save a little on your budget, just add a couple more minutes to your commute time to the beach and save tons monthly. Same thing with the schools. You want to be within that zone. Some of these master plan communities are going to be higher. You're paying for amenities like these. You can be just outside. There are plenty of smaller master plan communities that maybe don't have CDD fees or have lower HOA fees, or, just maybe are older homes, and you're going to get in that same school zone at a smaller monthly premium. My job is to balance lifestyle, commute, and budget so there are no surprises. Bottom line, moving to St. Augustine is awesome, but it is not a one-size-fits-all, and that is exactly why I do what I do. So be sure to download our app, shoot me a chat message in there, or you can call, text, email anytime. All my contact info is in the description. Reach out, and I am here to make this your smoothest and most successful move ever. And I will catch you in the next video.